Hi, this is Bill Dannenmeyer, CEO of Black Box Partners. And as a portion of our Introduction to Project Management class, we teach initiating and planning projects. It's essential to begin with a clean understanding of the scope that we're going to be working with, so we want to take our organization from wants through to deliverables. And this training video will give you a few slides from that course as an example. Wants to deliverables. Wants and needs exist in organizations whether they know it or not. Therefore, they're drawn in a cloud because the wants and the needs are sometimes not very clear. The job of management is to go into the cloud and find what it is that we actually need, separate that from what the organization wants, make sure that objectives are framed from the needs of the organization. It's the job of management, executive management, the level above the project manager, to set the objectives for the project. We use the terminology SMART objectives, meaning specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, time-constrained, because we want these objectives to be clear enough that they can be measured and achieved by the project team. This language is also used, SMART objectives, is also used in personnel reviews at the end of the year and is a frequent HR term. Functional requirements are drawn from the business in alignment with the objectives. Now notice there's an overlap between these two circles in that sometimes objectives are stated so specifically by management that they don't need to be rewritten to become requirements. Technical requirements are created by the project team. So there's two different types of requirements, functional and technical. Functional are the whats, answering the question, what do we need to achieve the objective? Technical requirements are the hows. How will we perform the project work to create the functional requirements that meet the objectives? Requirements should be complete, valid, unambiguous, testable, and traceable. Complete in that the whole set of requirements needs to be written out or understood. Valid in that the requirements ought to be something that can actually be done. Unambiguous, meaning they're stated in clear language. Testable, meaning we can test whether the requirement is actually happening or it is not happening. If we can't test it, we don't know it exists, and therefore we can't deliver it. And they should be traceable, meaning something that can be traced from the beginning of the project until the end, or at least until delivery. So tracing throughout the project requirement. Deliverables are created based upon the technical requirements. How do we do it? We create the deliverables. The deliverables are created during the execution stage of the project. Usually the requirements are created during the planning stage of a requirement, though it is possible to create requirements as the first stage of a large project. So the first stage we create the requirements, and then the second stage we deliver them. Or they could be revealed during the execution of the project when we have not specified enough of the requirements in advance. And then that would happen under the change control process. The project manager should be managing the requirements throughout the life of the project using a Requirements Traceability Matrix. Black Box teaches in our class that the Requirements Traceability Matrix is an essential job of the project manager to keep and to place it in the project management plan as one of the foundational documents of the project. It is also used throughout the project so that each line of the Requirements Traceability Matrix, each requirement is signed off on by the customer or by the key stakeholders so that at the end of the project it becomes an important part of the requirements documentation in the archive of the project. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation of Black Box Partners.